Hey, welcome back to today's video. It's JMA Monday. We're going to have a look at the long-range seasonal model today. So we're going to look from May through June into July with this update. Now, this will go into the summer update, but I'm going to do on Sunday the full GasOverVids.com second summer update will be with you on Sunday. This we'll go into that update. We'll put the JMA in most definitely, but there's so much information that you can glean from the Japanese model. And I haven't got time when I do the summer updates to sort of look at everything that it's possible to look at with the JMA. So I like to separate it out a little bit and do an update just for the JMA so that we can look at everything that the model has got to show for the 3 months coming up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. JMA Monday, hope you enjoy it. But before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all of the pages at GasOverVids.com. Please have a browse through the widgets, and if there's anything that you're interested in, click through. And because you're clicking from GasOverVids to wherever the article is, we get everything of what you're doing. Thanks very much for doing that. There's also video ads on the page. They open out within the content, and when you've watched them, they'll close back up again. So really cool. Do check those out and see what they're about. They're quite short, only around 20-30 seconds. Proper sort of TV commercials. I'm very pleased with them, really. But I think they add quite a bit to websites. So do check those out if you have the time, and again, you're helping to support GasOverVids.com. Thanks so much for doing that. And just say about the Japanese model, you can find the link to that on the links page, so what you see is you'll be able to see for yourself. Right, let's get on with the update, and here we go. With May first of all, we'll start off with the 500 millibar heights from the Northern Hemisphere view. I'll flip these charts around so that you can see them. I'll just indicate where the British Isles is and change the colour. Let's go for a blue. Right, British Isles is just there, so you can see where we are. And for May, we've got a trough of low pressure sitting over Scandinavia, quite a deep trough there actually, and a ridge down to the southwest, out west and southwest of the country, and another trough in the central part of the Atlantic. Jet stream is going a little bit like that. It's not a great signal for May, and May has consistently looked like quite a difficult month from both CFS V2 and from the Japanese model for a little while now. It's still that sort of idea that we're probably going to have a relatively coolish month, probably quite, well, not a desperately wet month, but certainly a changeable month would be likely on that sort of solution, with the trough of low pressure out east and probably eastern side of the country getting the wettest conditions. Interesting. It's not a washout of a month because we've got ridging through the Atlantic, so not like being totally steamrolling through the jet stream with deep areas of low pressure, but it's relatively changeable and probably relatively cool as well. We'll have a look at how the temperatures and precipitation are stacking up with this in a moment. Going through into June, there are signs of an improvement for June. That trough of low pressure is moving off towards the southeast of Europe, so that's good news. The ridge of high pressure is generally still centred out to west of the country, going trough across the northeast part of America. The flow there is going something like that, so it's rather a tricky one. The ridge is closer, so it would be relatively dry, I think, through June. It's certainly not going to be a washout. Where that ridge is centred, just to the west of the country, it means we probably still pull the jet stream down across the country, and we probably bring relatively cool air down from the northwest. But, of course, it wouldn't take a great deal. I'll just get rid of those lines. It wouldn't take a great deal to sort of centre this high pressure over the country like that. And if we was to stick it in somewhere, say, around there, then that would be okay. We'd have a lot of dry weather, certainly, and it could be relatively warm. So whilst the signal for June at face day isn't that good, to be honest, I don't think it's too bad, actually, and it wouldn't take a great deal to shift that high pressure over the top of the country. Excuse me. And then as we go through into July, this is quite an interesting, quite an odd one. Look at all this yellow that we've got going round the mid-latitudes. I'm not really that sure what's going on there, to be honest. It was a bit strange, but anyway, for us, we've got a trough of low pressure around Greenland and Iceland, and then we've got all of this yellow sort of sitting to the southwest. The jet stream it looks like the jet stream is running through the country, actually, but it's coming into sort of high pressure, so that could easily be shunted up to the north. Again, it's a bit tricky to work out what's going on there. That's a very strange looking chart. I'm not sure whether the JMA has lost the plot a little bit on that one. But face value, it looks like the base of weather will be in the south and the east. Most of the sunny conditions in the northwest. Not a washout again by any means. Bring the jet stream through, so it's never going to be all that hot, to be honest, on that sort of a solution. The flow and the air is sort of Atlantic based in July. That would be relatively cool conditions, but it's reasonable, it's okay. There'll be a fair amount of dry weather with that. So let's have a look at how the temperature and precipitation stack up with all of this. We'll start off in May again. Remember, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly for May, first of all. So we've got this ridge of high pressure down to the southwest, and the trough is up to the northeast. We said the jet stream is going something like that. I said it's not great signal for May. Let's see what the temperature is coming out for May, and there we go. We're coming out cooler than average. It is seeing cooler than average month there. Temperature anomaly around 0 to 1 degree below average. So a cool month coming up, and I'll show you the wind arrows so you can see why that's happening. I'm not sure if you can quite make this out, but overall the wind arrows are showing that the air is coming from a sort of northerly, northwesterly type direction, and of course there's that deep trough there over across Scandinavia. So that's why it's a relatively cool month. In terms of the precipitation, when it comes out near normal, actually maybe a little bit drier than average. The wetter conditions, you can't really make it out, but there's very subtle hints of blue up here. So wettest conditions likely to be across the far east of the country, but overall coming out near normal to slightly drier than average. So not a washout of a month by any means, just rather cool and chilly with the flow coming in from the northwest. Now let's go through into June and see how things stack up for June. So we'll start with precipitation first of all for June. And again, it's coming out with precipitation a little bit lower than average, so relatively dry month. It's been seen. Remember, for June, got high pressure sitting just out the west of the country, trying to extend a ridge in. So rainfall is okay. We're coming out a little bit drier than average. There is the height anomaly chart for June from the mid-latitude view. And yeah, the high pressure is centred to the west. You can see that quite clearly. The flow is going like that. So the high pressure just to the west, it means the air comes down from the northwest generally, but very subtle differences will place that high pressure right over the top of the country. That would be quite good, of course. Now, the temperature anomaly isn't great. It's coming out cooler than average again. So that is seeing both May and June coming out cooler than average. That could be a little bit on the pessimistic side. If we also get that high pressure and centre it just a few hundred miles further east over the top of the country, then we could come out with a warmer month. But on the face of it, the JMA is seeing both May and June to be cooler than average. And then finally, let's go through into July. Remember, July was a very strange one, so let's have a look at the 500 millibar high anomaly mid-latitude view. Here it is, and we've got all of this yellow here to the south and the west of the country, so it's in quite a strong Azores high, certainly, and then we've got this low pressure up to the northwest, and the jet stream seems to be on this black line running right the way through the country. And of course, we've got all this ridging down to the south and the southwest, so that should keep us relatively dry, but the flow is coming in off the Atlantic, so I expect a relatively cool month again. Let's have a look at the temperature anomaly, and well, it's not as bad as the other two, but it is still sort of average to cooler than average generally. It's lifting up a bit in the south, possibly going a bit above average in the south, but in the north and west it still is cooler than average. Again, that could be a bit on the pessimistic side. If that ridge is as strong as that's seeing, then we are at least having a chance that could build that ridge right in over the top of the country. So on the face of it, not a bad update, really, this from the JMA for the summer. In terms of precipitation, again, it's coming out a bit drier than average. So all in all, it could be a heck of a lot worse. And I did CFS 6 months look ahead yesterday, and that's on the catch-up page if you want to see it, if you haven't seen it yet. it was a bit of a disaster for summer, certainly for July and August. It was terrible, with both months coming out significantly wetter than average and hinting at being very cool as well. And of course, we don't go out to August with the JMA yet, so that's the caveat with that. But overall, considering what the CFS was doing yesterday, I don't think the JMA is too bad on face value. It is going for a relatively cool period, but it could be a bit pessimistic on that. And certainly for June and July, I think they could both be really quite decent months. Now, this is going to go into the summer forecast. I won't be able to go through all of this detail for the summer forecast. We're going to have about 8 other models to look at. It will go into the summer update, though, on Sunday, and I think we'll be able to put this in the count of being okay. Not a classic summer by any means, but a reasonable summer, and certainly not anything too terrible showing up on the JMA for June and July. So a little bit of good news. If you want a nice summer, a little bit of good news there for you to be going on with for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.